Hi everybody, it's Chris and I'm back to do another pour with you today. So today we are going to try Julie Kutz's floating pearl technique. She has done some really beautiful paintings using this technique, and it uses the Gold Extreme Sheen 24 karat gold, which if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I love this paint. It's just a really beautiful color. It has a ton of metallic to it, just really pretty when it's done. So today the colors that we're going to use are the Ultract Permanent Violet. This is a heavy body paint. So my paints, I've had to add a little bit of water to them to get them thinned down a little bit just because these paints are so thick. The other color that we're going to use is Quanicradone Violet. This is a Blick Artist acrylic. And then I'm also using some Artist Loft Flow acrylic white from Michaels. So all of my paints have been mixed about 1 part to 2 parts of Floetrol. And then I did thin them down just a tiny bit, just so that they were the right consistency. I had a heck of a time getting the Quanicradone Violet to get mixed up, and I still feel like I can see that I've still got a few little chunkies in there, so I'll probably mix it just a tiny bit more before we start. But I did add water to it just in order to get it to the right consistency that I felt it should be for a pour. So the 24 karat gold has just been 1 part of paint and 1 part of paint and 2 parts of Floetrol. So you do not add any water to that paint at all. So it's quite thick compared to the other colors. This is the Permanent Violet. It's a really beautiful color when it's all mixed up. And then this is the 24 karat gold. So you can see that this one is quite a bit thicker than the other paints. So, and this is the way that we want it to be because we want the other paints to kind of flow over the top of it. All right, so I am going to start, I'm kind of tempted to start with a little bit of the gold in the bottom of it just because I think sometimes the gold kind of gets pushed out from the center. So I'm kind of tempted to start with some gold because I want to make sure there's a little bit of gold in the middle of it. So I'm just going to layer a little bit of gold in here, which is not what Julie does, but sometimes you got to kind of do your own thing. And then I'm going to pour in some of the violet, the Permanent Violet. And then next I'm going to put in some of the Artist Loft White. And then next with the Quanicradone Violet. I still feel like that one's really thick, but. And this is a 12 by 16 that we're working on. So we want about 8 ounces of paint when we're all said and done. And that doesn't factor in, oops, sorry, I almost forgot the white. And then I'm going to put the white in between the Permanent Violet and the Quanicradone Violet. All right, so that should do it for our tree ring portion. And I'm going to set these guys over to the side. I'm going to set this over here to the side, and then we're going to put the gold right in the center. And this is how Julie has done her pours, by putting the gold down in the center of the canvas. As I said, this is a 12 by 16 canvas. And you can see just how thick that gold is. Holy cow, that's thick. And I want to make sure I have every last drop of that beautiful paint out of there. I used my postage scale to measure my paints, just so that I could get precise measurements. Generally, I don't get that scientific about it. But this one is kind of one, I've tried this before and it didn't really work out well. It made a very pretty painting, but I didn't get the pearls that I wanted. Okay, so now we're gonna start pouring into the center and we're gonna make a tree ring, hopefully on top of the gold paint. And the goal is for this to go over the top of the gold. I have a feeling that my paint might be a little bit too thick for that though. I think it's actually going to push it out, which is not what I really wanted. So hopefully we'll see how it turns out. So just kind of doing a tree ring on top of it. And there's some of that gold. I'm going to be really happy that I put that in the center there. And look how pretty that cup is. Okay, and I'm going to use my torch to pop the bubbles. It's very cool looking so far. Because I know I've got air bubbles in there because I just mixed my paint. And hopefully, I'm pretty sure the gold is over here. I'm a little concerned because it pushed up that way. So I think we'll start tipping off this way first. Actually, maybe we will go this way and see if we can kind of go over the top of that. And see if we can kind of preserve some of that gold. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted that tree ring that we put on there first to kind of run over the gold, and I'm pretty sure that it did. So I'm just going to stretch this out up to the corner and then bring it back down. I'm going to go down to this right corner, I believe. And then I will bring my paint back up into the kind of the center, and we'll go off to the other corners. And I'm going to bring it back up and kind of get the weight up into the middle. And then we'll go up here to the right and see if we can get these corners covered up. And go off and then bring it back down. I'm hoping that there's some gold under there. They are pretty colors, but I would love to see those little pearls pop through for sure, since that's what we're kind of going for. I'll let that creep down here to the lower left and off. And then I think we're going to try and get that upper left corner to cover. And then hopefully our gold is going to pop up through magically. We'll see. There we go, off of that corner. Oh, I can see some gold pearls at the top. All right, and then I'm gonna kind of try to get this back down into the center. And perhaps we can get that bottom corner covered, but if not, I will go back and touch up with some of the violet that's still in the cup. All right, let the magic begin. I'm going to touch this up with some of my violet that I have here. Oh my goodness, do you guys see the pearls? How cool is that? I'm gonna let it sit here for a few minutes, and then I will show you a picture at the end of the video after it's sat for about 15 minutes. You can definitely see that we have some gold pearls popping up, which is super cool. I'm really excited that this is actually coming through. That's awesome. So I will put a picture on at the end here in about 15 minutes so that you can see how it turned out. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.